Good afternoon. I got an email from some individual. It was passed on to Max. And I thought this guy was legitimate. I thought he wanted to ask some questions. But instead, he's just a Robert Breaker defender trying to justify Robert Breaker's insanity and lies. And he makes some reference to the issue of Abraham's bosom and the Lord going, doing his body was in the grave, going in down to Abraham's bosom, taking captivity captive. That's how warped thinking Robert Breaker's is. He doesn't think those people are saved, and he thinks the gospel is preached to them down there. If you look at his book on 1 Peter 3:19, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits in prison. Abraham's bosom isn't a prison. And Robert Breaker is going to admit the spirits. This is not souls, this is spirits. Now we get into some more heavy stuff. Notice that Christ went and preached to the spirits in prison. Contrast that with souls in verse 20. Spirits, according to Hebrews 1:7-14, are called ministering spirits and angels. In 2 Peter 2:4, we read that God spared not the angels that sinned, but cast them down to hell and delivered them into chains of darkness to be reserved unto judgment. Also, we find in 1 Peter 4:6 that the gospel was preached unto them that are dead. That is talking about. It's not talking about preaching the gospel to dead people. He can't read English. It's talking about the gospel being preached to people who are now dead, that had been preached the gospel that had become before them, that had been preached the gospel. They were now dead. Not the fact that the gospel was preached to the dead. So what happens if you can't read English, people? Now, a lot of people like that verse to use that because like a second chance or something, like these people in there. But they were trying to say Abraham's people in Abraham's bosom now got the gospel preached to them. Now they were told about the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. They were saved people, and they're saved by another gospel. They had imputation of God's righteousness. They were justified. They were regenerated. They just couldn't get to heaven because the blood hadn't been shed yet and applied to the tabernacle, the Ark of the Covenant in heaven. This is the warped, bizarre thinking of Peter Ruckman and Robert Breaker. And I don't know if Peter Ruckman teaches this. He said it'll save people in Abraham's bosom. But you get that imagination. They think they can say anything. 144,000 were Herod, with children killed by Herod. Anything that comes off the top of this guy's head, he says it. He also preached the gospel to those souls that were in Abraham's bosom. Where does it say that? Verse 20, 1 Peter 3:20, which sometimes were disobedient, right? When once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing, wherein few, that is, 8 souls, were saved by water. So the two issues that those spirits could be the spirits of the mixed blood, both human and angelic, that were kept in the prison that were killed during the flood, as well as the fallen angels who left their first estate. 1 Peter 2:4. So he goes here to 1 Peter 4:6. For this cause was the gospel preached also to them that are dead. See, Peter's just talking about, the gospel is preached to those that are dead. They're those who died, and now they believe the gospel and they're saved. It's not talking about preaching the gospel to dead people. That they may be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to God in the spirit. So they live the same way. That they may be judged according to men in the flesh, but live according to God in the spirit. They died because they were judged according to men in the flesh. These people died because sin is in our flesh. But live according to God in the spirit. Their walk has a spiritual walk. But they're dead because of sin in their body. Let's see here. But Breaker wants you to think that has to deal with preaching to the... So this guy writes to me. I'd like to read the email. Oh, I think you're wrong, Robert Breaker. You didn't answer my question in Romans 4. And Robert Breaker has his point that those people in Abraham's bosom won't be saved. Even Ruckman says they were saved. He was justified according to Breaker in James 2. Why wasn't he saved? Because no one gets saved by works or the law. But none of them were saved by keeping the law or works. They were saved based on Old Testament gospels given to them. The 11 disciples who were saved under the kingdom gospel, the Lord said, you're all clean. or you need your feet washed. So I'll deal with that. I'll deal with the dispensational salvation. I'll deal with these continual distortions and lies and half-truths that this guy puts out, and his defendants who want to ignore what he says. The gospel wasn't preached to people in Abraham's bosom. The gospel was preached to those who were in prison, spirits who were in prison, and were disobedient. So it could be a combination of the fallen angels who mated with the human women and those who were born from those mating and had that mixed genetics, the giants. And the race had to be saved, with 8 people. 8 people with Noah. And so those mixed angelic human probably went to the same place that the fallen angels had gone to. And what was told? They were told they lost, they defeated. And it could be for the fallen angels, so it could be the souls could be referring to those angelic beings, mixed human angelic, who rejected God, the giants, and in turn was sent to that prison. So I'll stop and put this up. Amen. Thank you.